Thank you, Heather. It's a pleasure having you with us. We also have with us today by video the Republican nominee for State Treasurer of Pennsylvania, Stacy Garrity.
Good morning. Stacy Garrity, candidate for State Treasurer. So I come from Athens, Pennsylvania, which is way up in Bradford County, where we have more cows than people, where we know each other, we like each other, where we stand for the national anthem, we kneel to pray, and when we get back up, we look out for one another. So Athens is a very small place, but filled with big hearts. So that's where I come from, and that's who I am. So now you're asking yourself, why should we elect somebody from Athens, Pennsylvania to be our next Pennsylvania State Treasurer? Well, I'll give you a little background. So I've spent 33 years in manufacturing. I work at the largest tungsten smelter in the Western world, Global Tungsten and Powders. I worked my way up to become the first female vice president, and I've had different positions to include Director of Sales and Marketing, responsible for $650 million, Vice President of 2 out of 3 of our business units. I was on the mergers and acquisitions team for our acquisition in Jyväskylä, Finland. The most difficult thing about that was pronouncing Jyväskylä, and also as managing director for a facility in the Czech Republic for 9 years. My current position is Vice President of Government Affairs and Industry Liaison, and I've pushed legislation to protect the industrial base and to create jobs. But it's not just about my resume, it's also about my story. So we all know that the job of a state treasurer is to safeguard the billions of dollars of our public monies and make sure it doesn't leak out of the coffers. Well, I know a little bit about guarding things. I've spent 30 years in the United States Army Reserves, 3 combat deployments to Iraq. My last deployment was in 2008-2009. I was the acting battalion commander at Camp Bucca, which is in southern Iraq. And our mission was to provide care and custody for 7,000 detainees, and I also had 1,200 soldiers under my command. We were the very first internment facility to have 0 abuse allegations and 0 escape attempts. I retired in June of 2016 after I hit my mandatory retirement date, or I would still be serving because serving our country was the greatest honor of my life. Now, before you start thinking I'm like that warden in Shawshank Redemption, I must confess that the local Iraqi population, as well as the detainees, gave me a nickname called Angel of the Desert. And yes, that is a very strange name for somebody that had to make sure that 7,000 detainees stayed put and didn't escape. But there's a reason for that. And the fact of the matter is, our soldiers understood that the detainees on the other side of that concertina wire had a life, had a home, that the same God that made us made them. And yes, it was our responsibility to make sure they didn't escape and get back into the fight, but we also had a solemn duty to make sure if they were repatriated, which means sent home, that they left changed just a little bit. We're blessed to have the greatest military power in the world, and we've used that power to defend democracy around the world and fight for freedom. Yes, when someone messes with us, we fight back. After 9/11, we promised we'd never forget, and we didn't. We took care of business then, and we'll take care of it again. But our real power is grounded in our human decency, and that's the truth that American haters don't want to hear, that we believe in fairness, we believe in honesty. And I can tell you more than one story about detainees that wanted to know how to come to America, and not just to have a better circumstance, but to be better people, and that's how you fight terrorism. Now, and we all know that we have to do it by working hard and paying attention to the details. And when people that we've entrusted with power don't do the right thing, it really ticks me off. So now I'm going to tell you a story. It's about a friend of mine, and we had dinner together in June, and he showed me 2 unemployment checks totaling $5,680. Now you're going to ask yourself, when did unemployment become so profitable? I know, but that's not what this story is about. He didn't apply for unemployment. He's not unemployed. He's my media consultant. So tried to give the checks back, and when he opened them up, who'd sign them? Joe. And about a week later, he got a letter from the Bureau of Labor and Industry. Congratulations, Dennis, you've been approved for unemployment. So that is just a symptom of how unserious this current treasurer's office is. Also, who out there knew that last fiscal year, the governor spent $900 million more than what was appropriated? $900 million. That's almost $1 billion. And wouldn't that money be nice to have now? Because you never know when you're going to have a crisis and you never know where it's going to come from. So the sad truth is that these row offices, they don't care about Pennsylvanians. They don't care about taxpayers. They are all using their jobs as a stepping stone to run for the next office. Take the current Attorney General, Josh Shapiro. We all know he's running for governor. He said it. The current Auditor General, who's termed out, he's running for Congress. And the incumbent treasurer, Joe, he's either going to run against Josh or he's going to run for Senate. So the people that we have in these row offices, they are leaders that do not lead. We haven't had a Republican treasurer in 25 years. We haven't had a Republican Auditor General since the 80s. So there are no checks and balances on this governor. I will be an advocate for all Pennsylvanians. I will watch what this governor spends his last 2 years in office because he has 2 more years. And think about what he did the last 6 months. Can you imagine what he's going to do the next 2 years? And he has nothing to lose. So if you want to send a message, put me in. If you want somebody to bring their Army values of loyalty, duty, respect, service, honor, integrity, and personal courage to Harrisburg, because money in Harrisburg doesn't belong to bureaucrats or politicians, it belongs to you, then please vote for me. Last, I want to thank all of you out there for everything you do for the Commonwealth and for our party. God bless all of you. God bless Pennsylvania. And God bless the United States. Thank you.